Welcome to our Friday morning stretch session. So today, like I mentioned in the comments, is we are going to need a resistance band. A towel will also work. You could use a sweater. A sweater would also work. And then optionally, you have a pillow or a couch cushion. And this is going to be used for kneeling, but it will also be used to prop our leg up in the open book stretch or mobility exercise. So I have 9:30 as always. I have the comments on my screen. I actually have the screen tilted a little bit better this time. So if you have questions, if you just want to say hello, go ahead, put that in the chat there, and I will happily answer that. I'm just going to try to get rid of the pop-up there. All right, so now I can see if people are here. Okay, so we're going to start on the ground with something very simple. This is our good morning stretch. Essentially, we're just lying on our back. I like to put my arms in a Y, and I find by just pressing my elbows down in the Y, I get a little bit more stretch in my chest and my shoulders. Looking straight up, and then just allow yourself to sort of be here. You know, natural arch in the lower back, upper back, butt, legs, arms, head, all touching the ground. Just go ahead and breathe through this. And then from here, we're going to take our left leg, we're going to cross it over our right. I'm going to bring my right knee towards my chest, right hand on the outside, left hand through the hole, head stays on the ground, and we pull that right knee towards the chest ever so gently. It doesn't have to be a lot. You probably feel a little bit of a stretch, just with a little bit of pressure. Continue to breathe. Everyone's excited for the weekend. Upcoming. Then we'll switch sides. So my right leg is crossed over my left now. Right hand to the hole, left hand to the outside. Head stays on the ground. Pull that left knee towards the chest. And if you need any modifications, if you find this too difficult, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you find reaching through the hole difficult, you can always use your band or a towel. Put that through the hole instead and pull on that, and then again, you don't have to like crane your head forward, you don't have to reach forward, you can use that band. Alright, and then we are going to grab our band, put it around the middle of our foot. Again, head flat on the ground, leg stays straight, toe pointed towards the shin. Then we just sort of lift up until we feel that 6 out of 10 stretch in our hamstring. When I say that 6 out of 10 stretch, what I mean is the 6 out of 10 on like an intensity scale, where 1 would be, sitting on the couch. 10 would be it's tearing off the joint there. And then we can go to the outside, legs stay straight, hips stay on the ground, shoulders stay on the ground, toes still pointed towards the shin. And we can cross over our body. And for this, I like to keep the shoulders still on the ground, but that left hip can come off the ground a little bit. Leg stays straight, toe pointed towards the shin. And remember last week how I told you, you have Monday I told you you have 3 hamstring muscles. This also targets the different hamstring muscles. We're switching sides, but it also gets a little bit more of the hip, gets more of the T-spine as well, and I find this one a lot safer and easier to do for people than having the foot up on the chair. Not saying, the foot up on the chair one's great because it's convenient. This one is just, in my opinion, if you have the choice, do this one. Leg is straight, toe pointed towards the shin, and we're going to the outside now. I'm going to turn, and hopefully you can see a different angle a little bit better. Not sure if you want to see this angle. And we're going to cross to the other side. Yeah, we want to keep the shoulders still on the ground, but that hip can come off. Okay. So we have our open books next. I'm going to use the pillow here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie in a T here. Alright? I'm going to take my left leg. I'm going to bring it over to on top of the pillow. And then the book is open. I'm going to close the book, keeping my gaze on my left hand. The left hand is moving because the left leg is crossed over. And then I open that book as much as I can. You might not reach the floor, that's okay. And we close the book. And just move through this at a natural pace. Remember to breathe. And we want to stay in line or slightly lower than shoulder height the whole time. And we'll do one more. Close and open here. Close. And open. And again, my head stays on the ground the whole time. I just turn through the cervical spine. I'm going to start closed book here. I turn through the cervical spine to keep my gaze on my hand. And that makes my cervical spine, which is in your neck, move at the same time as your thoracic spine, which is in your torso. And we'll do one more. Open. Oh, that's perfect. So, we are going to sit up now, and we're going to go into our child's pose next. As always, if you need any modifications, just let me know. Child's pose, so I'm kneeling. I like to hinge from the hip into, bring my hip back, and then I bring my arms forward. And then head just between the elbows. Roll forward as you breathe. In. Roll forward, out. Finding that position. And then you can even, if you find that too much, you can set those elbows down and readjust. Go right into our quadruped position. So my hands are under my shoulders, my knees are under my hips. Arch my spine. And then as I breathe in, I bring my spine to neutral, head to neutral. Out, tuck the chin, arch the spine, breathing out. And then just continue to follow that breath pattern at your own pace. Do one more on each. All right, so if you want, for our half kneel hip flexor, you can place your left knee on the pillow, right leg comes forward. And then I'm going to push my hips forward. Left arm comes up. This here. Feeling that stretch all through the side here, mainly for me right here. Some people will feel it a little bit more on the quad. Depends on where you're tight. Switch sides. Right knee comes down now. Left leg forward. Push the hips forward. Right arm comes up. Now, this is probably one of the most important stretches you can be doing. Is because you most likely have tight hip flexors. That's just sort of the nature of it. It's also important that we do strengthen our hip flexors. A lot of people are just seated for a long period of time, and that muscle gets extremely tight but also extremely weak, and that's just a recipe for injury. All right, and then last but not least, we have our band rotator cuff stretch. Toss that back as we will be standing. So I'm going to grab my band in the left hand, my right hand here, and you can be doing this with a towel as well. So this is going to be the top hand. I'm then going to grab the left side of it with my left hand. And that my left hand is on my bottom hand, and then I'm just going to pull up on the right side. And essentially, the stretch is happening in my left shoulder. So the stretch happens from me. You can see it just ever so slightly pulls my left arm up. And that's where the stretch occurs from that rotation in the shoulder. Getting that extra bit of external rotation in the shoulder. And then we'll switch sides. And you can move to this one as well. So again, I grab it in my left hand, my right hand comes to the lower hand. And I just pull up on that left side. You can see how that pulling up action just ever so slightly dries up my right hand. And again, like I said, you could be moving through this if that's a little bit more comfortable for you. You might find one side a lot easier than the other. That's very common. Do this stretch until that's not the case anymore. All right. We'll just sort of shake this out, see how we're doing on time. I actually have a little bit more time, so we are going to add in some stretches. Went a little quicker than I thought it was going to. So we'll just start with our some hand and wrist stretches. So we're just going to go arm out. Pull back on those left fingers. We'll go through a whole hand series here of stretches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to individually pull back on these fingers. Pull them out. Push down on the knuckles. Separate the fingers, and then we're going to individually push. This is the best way to do this. I think this is it. There it is. Push down on the fingers individually. And then we'll switch sides. So I'm going to pull back on those right fingers now. That's the best angle for that. Try to get out of the window there. And then individually, we're going to pull back on those digits. This one there. And then we're going to pull out just to give them a little bit more separation. Push down on the right fingers. We'll stretch in the forearm. We're going to individually Push down those digits. Separate, shake it out a little bit, and then we'll just go upper trap neck stretch. So right ear, right shoulder. Pull down on the left arm. Again, these stretches we only hold for 10 to 20 seconds aside, just because those muscles are so tight. And then we'll go left ear to left shoulder, pulling down on the right arm. And you're feeling that stretch right here in that right side trap, right side neck. And we'll just shake it out. Call it a day. I'll call it a stretch anyways. I don't think I have the authority to call it a day for you. I hope you enjoyed that. You know, we did a lot of different stretches today, mostly from the ground. Just wanted to provide you some variety. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to address those. If you want to stretch a certain area, you know, always let me know. I'd be happy to add those in or work with you individually to give you some more stretches so that you're feeling better. But that is all the time I have. So I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Monday morning for another Stretch with Dave.